Hello and welcome to another professional development training. In this session we're going to introduce you to Moodle and how you can use Moodle to enhance your teaching with technology, making your life easier and also helping the university. In this introductory lesson we're going to talk about Moodle itself so you understand what the software actually does. We'll compare the distance education versions of our classes with the companion sites we're going to be asking you to create, and answer the question that I think is in everyone's mind, and that is, well, what is this Moodle actually going to do for me, the instructor? And lastly, we'll touch on some of the training we have available for you about Moodle. Moodle is the world's largest open-source virtual learning environment. It allows us to do everything we need to run an entire online university program. It allows us to do both complete online delivery or to create companion sites to help us with the workload we have for an on-ground class. Moodle is both a time and a cost saver. Once you get used to Moodle, you're going to find that it helps you make your courses move much more quickly, much smoother, and really reduce your overall grading time. As part of that, it acts as a repository for all of the student work, so you're not keeping hard copies anymore. The students don't have to print hard copies. You actually get date stamps as to when things were turned in. You can open and close the dates and times at which students can turn material to you. You have online grade books. And the grade books allow you to share with the student during the course of the class how well they're doing so that you get better response from your students. You're really only limited by your imagination and how much time you want to spend getting better and better at this system. So let's start by looking at what the real differences are between distance education and these on-ground companion sites we're talking about. When we talk about distance education, these are complete online courses. Both these and the on-ground companions are offered through the same interface, the same software. The difference is really the content level. In distance education, everything is ready-made for an instructor. We're building it up before they even teach. It forms a more rigid template that has most of the material they need to share with the students. There's really, at this point, no in-person synchronous action between student and teacher. It's all asynchronous and it's done via text. Therefore, the online material is the primary means of teaching. They don't really interact directly with the teacher, but instead through the online activities. On-ground companions, on the other hand, are an ancillary. They're an extra item that we're adding to your toolkit as an on-ground instructor. Initially, you won't have any content unless you want to add it yourself. It's just an empty shell. But you're free to build it however you wish. So you can add materials that are going to make the students' lives easier, or you can find links that really help them learn what's going on in the classroom. You can put your tests and your quizzes online so that you know when the student is taking it and have someone else grade it for you. Most of your teaching doesn't occur online, but instead in person in the classroom. So Moodle can be used in this instance and the companion sites as a way to reinforce your instruction. It's a way to turn around and create a stronger, richer environment than exists just between teacher and student in a classroom. But I know for some of you, you're going to look at this and think, oh great, one more piece of work I have to do in my teaching. Don't look at it that way. This is not adding work. It's actually going to make your life easier in the sense of reducing work over time. First of all, by having things online, we're not spending tons of money printing materials or printing the wrong materials or waiting for material to be printed. Instead, it's simply a matter of putting in a file or putting in a link, and suddenly all of your materials are ready to go for the students. That means you can plan ahead and have everything right where you need it, right when you need it, without having to rely on somebody else. By adding in internet components and some of the interactive tools you'll learn about later in Moodle, you can energize the homework. It won't simply be a matter of writing answers to end-of-chapter questions or figuring out the formula to the circumference of a circle. Instead, it's going to be true learning that you can have by having the students interact with the materials that are available online. This increases discussion. If you design the course correctly, it allows you to minimize students' confusion as to what's due and when it's due and what format it has to take. Most important, I think, is it reduces the rework. If you're teaching the same class over and over and over again, you have to keep making new copies, making new folders, making new material. Where instead, if you have a companion site in Moodle, you can just keep polishing the site you have. We can copy it over, and you can keep improving it until you have something that really flies well and is a class you can be proud of. It also reduces some of the work you have to do in terms of grading, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. From a university perspective and from your perspective, one of the other key issues for Moodle is it single sources all the data. It single sources your grades. It single sources the student work. It single sources the scheduling. Everything comes to one central point, and we're not going to this website or this piece of software, that piece of software, and constantly trying to balance what the actual answer is. Instead, everything is centralized in Moodle. And that's what we'd like to aim for as we're moving forward as a university. At its most basic, taking away all the extra bells and whistles you can create with Moodle. The most basic functions are the attendance record and the gradebook, the two things that you normally maintain anyway, either as a spreadsheet or something within Papa-Bear. Both functions exist beautifully, and we're going to have training available to you for how to set up the gradebook and how to use the gradebook, how to set up the attendance record. They're very easy to put together. They're easy to record. They're incredibly easy for the students to access. 24/7, anywhere they have an internet connection, they can find out what their grades were. They can find out how they're doing in class. Not only is it available through Moodle, but you can download it back into Excel if you want to play with the numbers or see how things are working out or do any kind of analysis of how your students are doing. The best part of the attendance and the gradebook is that they're automatically archived. Every day we archive the entire system. That means you can't lose a gradebook. You can't have your machine go down and suddenly you've lost the student's grade. Or if an instructor gets sick or an instructor quits, whatever it may be, the students are protected, and so is the university, and so are you, in the sense that there's always going to be the grades available. We're not going to lose anything. In the transition period between Papa-Bear and whenever we get this student-centric software that will actually run the student services, you still have to backfill the data in Papa-Bear. This means both the attendance and the final grades. So although Moodle allows you to very easily and in great detail list all of the grades and the final grades for a student, we're still going to have to enter those in Papa-Bear until we get the word about the new systems. I mentioned documents earlier. We spend an incredible amount of money every year printing out documents, tests and quizzes and student handbooks and instructor manuals and syllabi, you name it. We print tons of paper that just gets thrown away in the long run. Using Moodle reduces that need to pretty much zero, which is a great savings in cost for us, not to mention it's pretty good for the planet. Moodle allows us to use almost any kind of document form that's out there, whether it's an Office document, a PDF, HTML, you name it, you can use it within Moodle. Not only does Moodle allow us to use local documents, but it's very easy to link anything within the web. So if you want to turn around and use a great video that's on YouTube, you can do it. It's just a few keystrokes, and it's designed for teachers to help students. It's not designed for the administration. This is a set of software pieces that have been accumulating over time by teachers for teachers to make their jobs and their lives easier. Now, I've mentioned quizzes as well. Putting the questions into Moodle is somewhat problematic. It's not horrible, but it does take a little bit of work. But once you get the questions in Moodle, the amount of time you save from that point forward is amazing. Students can have their quizzes graded instantaneously. The minute they hit return, they have their grade, and they're able to then find out if they've done well or poorly. You can control when they can review the quizzes and tests so that they can't share answers with others. You can require passwords. It's all sorts of control functions in here if you wish to use them. But the best part about it is you're not spending hours at night at home with your answer key and all the tests going through and marking the answers true and false. It's not merely a multiple choice system. Anything is available. So you have short answer essays, long answer essays, matching questions, fill in the blank questions. Anything you can think of in a test, Moodle can handle. Now, admittedly, if it's an essay question, you're still going to have to go in and grade it. I can't get essays graded by Moodle at this point. But it can handle things like short answer questions and grade those for you as well. It does give you a chance to really build up the student. I can do a quiz as a regular test. How well have you learned this? I'll find out by the answers to your question. Or I can create tests that are instead mastery builders, where they have to keep taking it and keep trying it until they reach 100%. It's up to me as to how I want to use these quizzes to help my students learn. Bottom line, though, using Moodle for quizzes allows me to save a lot of time for grading, and it archives and saves all the attempts, so I can see what's happening with my students. I can identify questions that are poor. I can identify if there's a section or a topic or an idea that my students just aren't getting, so I can go back and reteach that particular topic to make sure they actually understand it. Homework's always a pain. It's a lot of paper you've got to pick up and drag around and grade. The nice thing about Moodle is it's very easy to set up homework assignments and allow the students to upload their homework. So again, we're saving trees, we're saving the planet, we're saving your back and your eyes. You can even create rubrics, so the homework can be graded not only by the teacher, but by the students, grading each other and getting credit for peer grading. Or TAs can grade it based on the rubrics you have available. The homework, as with the quizzes, are linked directly to the grade book. So as you do the work of correcting the homework, that grade goes right into the book that allows the student to find out how well they're doing in the class. Just like with quizzes, I can control when the homework is available, when they can turn it in, and when they can no longer turn it in. I can get a timestamp of when the homework was actually turned in to me. So there's no question as to whether work is late. There's no question as to whether a student actually turned in something and whether it was lost by an instructor. Everything is digital. Everything is right there. No mystery, no problems. It's clear as a bell. This saves you an incredible amount of effort. Moving out into a little more esoteric area, but one that students do need to learn how to do, Moodle is great with groups. There are all sorts of activities that you can set up to be homework done as group work, whether it's forums where students can discuss what's going on in the class, whether it's email capabilities, whether it's private areas for groups to work on a topic by themselves before they present it to the class. You name it. This is helpful both as homework and in class. If you have a classroom with computers, you can have the students working together on a PowerPoint. They can work together on the solution to a problem and be able to see each other's work. Incredible amounts of good, detailed work can be done through Moodle if we decide to set it up as a group activity. Well, so far we already have about 12 different courses in Moodle, and we're building more and more each week. Here you just see an example of some of them, choosing the Moodle tools, the Moodle companion, how to use rubrics, how to use publisher test banks, how to set up grade books, how to use groups, you name it, we've got training for you. If you need something specifically done, if you have a topic you really want to cover, feel free to talk to us, and we'll be happy to try to find a solution for you within the Moodle environment. This has been a very short and sweet introduction to Moodle. Hopefully it's put a little taste on your tongue and whet your appetite for what the possibilities are within Moodle. All we ask is you give Moodle a try. You can't break the companion sites, you can't ruin them, so go ahead and try things. Worst case scenario, we'll clean it out and build it back up for you again. Please attend our training. We do the training at least once a week. We also have it available online if you've missed something in the employee-facing Moodle webpage. Always ask for advice. We're happy to give you advice. We want you to use the Moodle. We want you to have more fun as a teacher. We want you to be more effective. So please, give this a try. Enjoy yourself. Look at this as a fun learning experience, and we hope to see you in many more of our trainings to come. Thank you much, and hey, you have a great day.